And welcome to CIS-4710 Homework 10. We're getting close to the end here, everybody. So this week we're going to work with a social engineering toolkit attack. And social engineering toolkit attacks are a little bit different because instead of directly attacking a system or an application on a system, you're basically kind of like phishing. So you're waiting for someone to come to your website or your service or something you're hosting, or in some fashion you redirect them to that site, say through like a DNS poisoning attack or a redirect attack or something like that. So what this example is basically shows you how to use or leverage the social engineering toolkit. So this is all going to be done from your Kali box. It's all installed already, so there's nothing special. And the first, don't blink because the first two screenshots go really quick, and that's like half of the 20 points anyway. So, but I guess if it's recorded, you guys can go back and just hit replay or something. So we'll get in here, and come on. It doesn't like it when I run Camtasia and record and run the VM at the same time. So I'm just going to open up a terminal, and there's two ways you can get into the Social Engineering Toolkit. You can use SE Toolkit, all right, or you can go Application, Social Engineering Toolkit, and the shortcuts right there. Either way is fine. Gives you the same thing. So the first screenshot is as soon as you get it up and running. That's about it. So just do a quick. I did this. It's Windows print screen. Nope. Sorry. Gotta get out of it there. Windows print screen. There we go. So yeah, using the hotkey is really important for step number 2. And I'll show you why. So for step number 2, what we're going to do is we've got to update it. So as you can see here, 5 points for updating set. So what you need to do is you have a selection here, update the social engineer toolkit, number 4. So you've got to be fast on this. Enter, click out, Windows, print screen. I don't think I was fast enough. Try that again. No, not fast enough. I'm looking for that. I think I got it that time. Yep, right there. So I'm looking for this. You are running Kali Linux with maintains set updates. So it's already set up just fine. So it's up to the latest version. That's kind of what I'm looking for. All right, you got to be kind of fast in taking that screenshot. What I did for that, so that you know, is I clicked into the VM. I hit 4. As soon as I hit enter, I'm doing Control and Alt to exit out of the VM. Then I'm hitting the Windows print screen to take the screenshot, and it immediately gets it. So it's, you know, a little bit of trial and error. It's got to be really quick with the fingers. Okay. So then we need to set up our social engineering attack. So I'm going to go and select number 1. Now from here, it is up to you what you want to do. I'm just going to show you an example of how to set up one particular attack. If you want to play around with it and do a different one, there are quite literally dozens and dozens of attacks in here that you can do. Now, will they work? Will they not work? It's a little bit of trial and error. It depends on your victim and the victim that you're going to try and compromise. So it depends on their browser. If they're using a browser-based attack, it depends on potentially on their operating system, what operating system they're coming from. Are they coming from a Linux system, a Windows system? So you have to kind of do a little bit of research if you were doing this in the field as part of a pen test. Who is your mark? What do they use? Are they using a Mac? Are they potentially using Safari as their browser? Is there any, are they using a Windows box? Are they using a tablet? You have to have a little bit of that footprinting done, right, before you can effectively set up an attack like this. So, but for the purposes of this homework, it doesn't really matter. We're just going to just select a random attack here. So I'm going to go ahead and do website attack vectors, because this is going to set up a website on the Kali box. And let's see here. I'm going to use Java applet attack method. I'm going to use their one of their web templates. Okay. Now, if you're ever asked if you're using NAT, remember we have Kali set up on the NAT network, so you want to answer yes, you are using NAT. So I'm going to hit yes. Then the IP address of the Kali box is what you want to put here. So how do I know what my IP address is? Well, if I open a new tab and I do if config, my IP address here, and yours will be different, of course. My IP address is 192.168.225.142. Okay? Everybody understand why I'm using that IP address? It's my IP address of my Kali box. You would use the IP address of your Kali box for the purposes of this homework. So 192.168.225.142. Enter. Is your payload handler Metasploit on a different IP from your external NAT port forward address? In this case, no. Everything is encapsulated in Kali. All right. Now, next we need to specify whether you want to use your own self-generated Java applet. Okay, so for the purposes of this, I'm going to use the applet that's built into set. Okay. Now, I could create my own self-signed certificate applet if I wanted to. All right. That might be useful. If you can't get the one that's built into set, try number one instead. Or if you want to build your own self-signed cert, you can waste the time and the hours, the days that's going to take. If you know how to do it really fast, well, that's on you. I'm just going to use the one that's built in. All right. So this attack here sets it up to edit a file and change the harvester redirect. Okay, within. So I'm just going to use the template that is going to say, hey, Java is required for this website. Okay, it's going to set up the website. All right, and set up the obfuscation for the file name and set up the malicious Java applet. Now, what do you want to do with the payload when somebody clicks on to the accept button? Basically, you have a lot of different things here. You have 8 different things. So, again, you have to understand who your mark is, right? So, let's just go with the default interpreter memory injection through PowerShell injection. Okay, let's give that a shot. And then what port do you want to listen on? 443 is the default. I'm going to use a different port. I'm just going to use 80. Or a different port. I could use 666. Let's try 8080. I didn't try that one last time. Yeah, we'll give that a shot. I don't know if that's going to work or not. We'll give it a shot. Okay, select the payload you want to deliver via shellcode injection. So what I want to do here is it has a interpreter reverse HTTPS as its default. Windows interpreter all ports reverse TCP. Well, trial and error. Let's go ahead and just use the number 1. Now, that went by kind of fast. And this is the screenshot that I'm looking for your setup. So all that good stuff there. You see all the green asterisks, which is great. We tested on Windows, Linux, and OS X browsers that are incorporated here. Moving the payload to the cloned website within Apache, and the site's been moved. Take a screenshot of this. There we go. Now we're 3/4 of the way home. We got 15 points already. Now we just have to do the attempt. Now, if you use an attack that actually gets you a reverse shell, kudos, wonderful. You don't get any extra credit points. I'm just looking for the attempt. But if you do, hey, pat yourself on the back. It's not exactly easy to get these things done because the system that you're using to try to pull off this attack, I bet you, at least I hope, you've patched it, you have Windows updates or Apple updates or whatever that's going on in your system, and your browser is probably not going to be susceptible to it. Okay, so and this is the reason I do an attempt and not an actual, okay, I need you to get this to work, because then you're looking at having to install an older browser or an older Java revision. And the last thing I want to do is have you guys come back in a year and say, hey, I got hacked because you made me put that old version of Java on my machine, and we're not going to do that. So that's why I just say I just want the attempt. Okay, so now that this is done, I'm going to come back to my host operating system, and I'm going to open up Internet Explorer. And I do have a little bit older version of Internet Explorer, and I'm going to go to my IP. Okay. Did I do that right? Ah, there it is. Took it a second. So here, you see where you have that Java TM blocked? Okay, this is the screenshot that I want you to have. So this is basically a bogus website that set up through Apache on your Kali box. So I went to my Kali box, and it's now, oh, it timed out. You gotta be quick with it. There we go. So basically now you can hit run at this time. All right. Basically, I'm just looking for this screenshot right here. Okay. Application is safe and secure. You want to click OK. So take a screenshot of this, and you're pretty much done. All right. Come on back here. There we go. Now, if you want to take an additional screenshot after you click OK, it looks like it timed out, so it did not give me a root access into the box, probably because Explorer squelched it. Okay, that's all right. I know it's not running now, so your security settings have blocked a self-signed application from running. So if we go into Java, and I think it's in Control Panel. My Java Control Panel. There it is. Okay. If I go to the Security tab, we want to have it enabled. All right. we could do an exception site here. So if I added the list in here, if I hit add and I put in http://192.168.225.142. Okay. You click OK. You click OK. All right. Now again, what's the likelihood of somebody actually doing this? Probably not very high. But if they had an older browser that would not ask for that, then run this time. Do you want to run this application? I accept it. Yes, I do. Run. Okay. All right. So then I guess what I need to do now is do a connection back to that listener. So that is a step that is a little bit beyond right now, but you have the, you see that the jar file is has been received. All right, and basically it's ready to bring up the shell. Okay, but that's another step for another day. So that's basically what I'm looking for. Take some screen captures of that and you're pretty much done. So if you want to get to that Java page and take a screenshot of this, take a screenshot of that as well. There we go. So basically what you're doing, when you take a screenshot of this, you know that your Java applet, your Java security is on, it's working. If you go and you add that website in there through the control panel like I showed you, you can bypass it. And then we're at the end of the purposes for this. You see that you have the get of the jar file. All right. The next step would be to logically get the shell. Okay, but that's outside the purposes of this project. It's just setting this up to get to this point. So that's all I'm looking for. If you do something similar like that from an attempt perspective, that's great. You can do a lot with this toolkit. All right, there's not very many wrong answers. As long as I see a valid attempt, you'll get the the full 20 points. All right, so I'm going to sign off now and post this on YouTube, and we'll go from there. And that's it. This is the last homework. Congrats. I hope to see all your guys' efforts.